Okay, so we're going to make a sauce to go with our pasta. So I always like to show people how to cut up vegetables to go in our sauce. So just to give you a little overview of what we have prepared here is our cutting board. Underneath our cutting board is some shelf liner, and that just helps your cutting board stay on your surface and it doesn't slide around. I have a bowl for my finished product, and then I have a tub for our vegetable garbage. And then we have what's called a bench scraper. That is a wonderful tool that helps us pick up our vegetables, and it does a lot of other great jobs in the kitchen. So we are going to start with our onion to make our marinara sauce. So I always describe an onion like the earth. So the root end or hairy end is like the North Pole, so think about Santa with his beard. And then the papery end or the stem end is like the South Pole, so think of penguins with their little tails. So, South Pole, it's too cold, we don't like it, we're going to cut that off. We're going to go straight forward with our knife, and then we're going to put this in our garbage bowl, or you can freeze these little onion ends, and then when you have a bunch of them, you can put them in a stock. So that way you get a little bit more use out of the things you would just normally throw in the trash. Okay, so when we're cutting things, we always want to have a flat surface on the cutting board. So we created a nice flat surface there. So we're also going to be using our chef's knife. We pinch on the chef's knife, just like that, thumb and forefinger on the blade. We're going to wrap our other 3 fingers around the handle. We're always aiming to move forward with our knife like this. So I'm lifting my elbow up and back, moving forward and then up the end, so we get a nice good rocking or scooping motion. Okay, other hand is called your guiding hand. So I like to say it's like you're trying to pick up sand. So all your fingertips are together, and then you just tip your knuckles over slightly like that, so they're butting up against the side of your knife. I'm going to make a cut, move that hand back, make another cut. You're always moving toward that guiding hand. You're not in danger of cutting any of your fingertips because they're all tucked in. We don't want to have them out like this, tucked in just like that. One thing you have to watch out for is Mr. Thumb, because he likes to make his way out like that, and so you could be cutting along, all of a sudden, give yourself a good slice. So make him shy, tuck him behind your other fingers like that. Okay, so back to our onion. We are going to cut the onion in half. So I'm going to anchor my knife in the center of my root, hold on either side like a bridge, and go straight forward with our knife. So now we've created a nice, good surface area where we can peel off one good layer of our onion. Now that my onion is peeled, I am going to pull it closer to my body because I'm going to make some horizontal cuts. So that allows my knife to get a nice straight edge, and the handle is not forcing it to tilt up and cut off a slice from the bottom. So I'm going to hold right up here at the equator, all right, because I'm going to make a couple of cuts from where South Pole was back up to North Pole. Just 4 or 5 cuts up that way. All right, make sure you hold up here, because if you hold up at the North Pole and you slip, you're going to get a good old slice. So make sure we hold way up here. All right, now I'm going to turn my onion around so my cut is parallel to my body. And now this is the only time where we're going to move straight down with our knife. So I'm going to make some cuts from east to west with the tip of the knife straight down, always keeping that North Pole intact to make sure that that's going to hold all of our layers together. Alrighty, so now turn it around. We're going to go across the equator. You can kind of hold those slices in place after you make your cut. All right, and when you get to the end where it feels like your end is going to tip over, let it tip over and get a couple more cuts that way, so we make as much use of that root as we possibly can. Okay, so now my onion is all diced up. All of our dices are exactly the same size. I wasn't chasing my onion all around the cutting board, and I'm not trying because it happened fast. So I'm going to take my bowl, hold it under my cutting board, sweep all my cuts into my bowl, and now we're all ready with that when we make our sauce. we have to have some nice fresh garlic in our sauce. So I'm going to show you the easiest way to peel and mince up your garlic. So I'm just going to get a whole head of garlic, and I'm going to take apart the cloves by just wedging the tip of my knife in between the cloves and just wiggle back and forth, and then you're able to separate those cloves a lot easier. Okay, so again, clean up any of that papery skin in between your cuts, that way you don't wind up with it in your finished garlic. I'm going to bring my garlic clove all the way to the edge of my cutting board closest to myself. I'm going to put my knife with the sharp part, or the edge, facing away from me. Okay, and then with the butt of my hand, give it one hard smack. All right, so see how, oh, look at that. All that peel comes off really, really quickly. Okay, if you don't feel comfortable doing that with your knife, here's another great use for your bench scraper. Put your bench scraper on top, give it a hard smack. Same thing, goes really, really quickly. Okay, one more, and then let's mince it on up. Okay, so we're going to use that same claw technique of putting your knuckles out against the side of your knife. We're going to rock our knife through that garlic one time. Okay, wipe your knife off, always wipe downward and not straight across. Gather your garlic up into a little pile, and we're going to hold the tip of the knife on the cutting board, rock it forward, and then our elbow is going to move like a windshield wiper, back and forth, back and forth. Every so often, wipe your knife off, gather the garlic back up into a little pile, and same thing, windshield wiper. Goes really, really fast. This is great for anything that you want to mince up quickly. Garlic, shallots, herbs, anything along those lines. Or you could cheat and you can put it all in the food processor and whiz it up like we do for class.